Hi everybody, Paul here from Ballistic Blubberless, and wanting to do something a little bit different for a while, and as well as the films, obviously huge fan of movies. Also over the years, and particularly from growing up and young boy, have been a huge fan of comic books. But it's only been quite recently that I got back into comic books, and certainly they are a lot different to when I was a kid. Of course, the staple diet of comic books when you were a young kid growing up was Marvel Comics, Spider-Man, and of course Fantastic Four, the Avengers, titles such as that, and DC Comics, you've got Superman and Batman, and they were the staple sort of diet, DC and Marvel. But then a couple of decades on into the sort of 90s and what have you, the independent comic book scene started to gain attention and garner interest from comic book collectors and comic book readers alike. And one of the big players was Image Comics, but other titles came into play like Dynamite Comics and Oni Press, and of course Image Comics, and that really started to reignite my love for comic books. And just over a year ago, about March-April 2013, got back into the comic book scene and very much into the independent comic book scene, and I thought that would be quite a good sort of probably monthly sort of update, something different to do. So I wanted to do something that was personal to me and share with you guys if it's something that you're interested in seeing, and calling this Comic Book Cool. And as I say, every sort of 2-3 weeks, maybe once a month, do a comic book update and really just share some favourite comic books. Not really going to go too in depth into them, just share the goodness really, and make some recommendations, and just bring forth some of the titles that some of you guys might like to know about, and a lot of them lead into TV shows and also films. And it's quite a collector's market at the moment, because a lot of these titles are actually being made into TV series and some big films as well. Anyway, just as a little bit of a background there, just really wanting to share that and let you guys know that Comic Book Cool is going to start off being a regular update. Now I thought, oh, what better place to start than connecting it with movies, and they don't come much bigger, of course, than Godzilla. And this is a hardback edition compendium piece of what is quite a good lead into the film that of course has been a big smash. And I haven't seen the film myself, but this, for all intents and purposes, is a prequel lead-in to the film itself. Just to give you a close-in shot there, Godzilla Awakening. Very cool indeed, and it does represent very good value for money. Now this isn't some hard sell, not being paid to do this. It is something that I picked up and I wanted to read for myself, and the reason I feel that it does represent good value for money is because it is quite a chunky collection. And what it represents really is, if you were buying this as a comic book series, it would probably work out as being a 4-issue comic book series. Now comic books these days, they tend to be about £2.50, £2.75 per comic book. Now, as simple mathematics applied, this hardback collected edition of Godzilla Awakening, as I say, compliant to what I would say would be 4 comic books, did work out at under £10 delivered. Now, to get a nice hardback edition as well really does represent great value for money, as I'm sure and hope that you would agree. Now I haven't really dove into this yet, so it is all nice, fresh and pretty stiff, but just to have a quick look inside, just to give you a taste of what the artwork is like, and I think that we can see, and I'd hope that you would agree, we're not getting shortchanged at all. It is some nicely done artwork and some nice graphics and pages there, so all very nice indeed. Don't want to really push opening this one up just yet, because like any true collector, I like to sit down with these things, read it quite carefully, then wrap it up almost in cotton wool, put it in a protective slip, and put it away for collecting purposes. But just again to touch on this one and just give a bit of background information, the comic book itself, or this comic hardbacked edition of Godzilla Awakening, it is released and has been released in very good time for the blockbuster Godzilla movie. Came out a week, 10 days before the actual film did, and of course the film being from director Gareth Edwards, and a movie I'm really looking forward to seeing as well. Do hope they bring out some special editions on Blu-ray for that one. But this is very much a prequel lead-in to the film, and very much does connect in a cool fashion. So far, in so much that it is written by Max and Greg Borenstein. Max Borenstein did the screenplay for the new Godzilla movie, so very, very much connecting to the film on a very personal level, and giving that prequel feel, so hoping that does deliver, but certainly does seem to be a very nice way, good introduction to checking out Godzilla before seeing the film, just to give a bit of insight and background information leading into the film itself. So there we are, that is the hardback edition of Godzilla Awakening. Pretty cool stuff indeed. Now, what I would also now like to introduce is also on the Godzilla theme, remaining with that, and that is to get into the Godzilla Monthly comic books. And this particular Godzilla series, just wanted to really share the goodness of the cover artwork, because it's all very cool, and particularly if you're a Godzilla fan. This is from IDW Comics, and it is Godzilla Rulers of the Earth. Some very, very cool comic book cover art. Let's just slide into a few of the covers. We've got I've got a collection of the first 10 editions of Godzilla Rulers of the Earth, and just share some of the very cool cover artwork, just to give a real taste of how cool these comic books can be. It's really the main selling point, I think, the main first point of contact and interest for any comic book is the cover artwork. If you get that wrong, you're going to find it more and more difficult to actually sell the comic book. No matter how good it is, you've got to make sure that the cover artwork is spot on. And I think IDW, all credit to them, with Godzilla Rulers of the Earth, they've done a very, very cool job indeed. Some very dynamic cover artwork there, and I think you'll agree, and you'll notice that very representative of the classic Toho Studios theme as well, so not letting the side down there. And I'm sure that they probably would have had to have got some sort of license and franchise agreement from Japan Toho Studios before they could actually write these comic books and deliver them to American audiences, worldwide audiences, particularly outside of Japan, because of course Godzilla is very iconic, and Toho Studios definitely do not like people messing about with their icon Godzilla in any shape or form. So very, very cool stuff. Do really like the cover artwork on these. Now, IDW comic books are one of the highly readable and regarded independent comic book houses to offer an excellent alternative to the big boys of Marvel and DC, and about time too. IDW has several Godzilla tie-in comic book series, and this one, Godzilla Rulers of the Earth, is one of the best. So definitely worth checking this out and giving it a pick up and a read, and enjoying the goodness particularly if you're a Godzilla fan. But I did, as I say, want to just share the love and give a deserved shout out to IDW and have a look at these very cool covers, and of course the many recognisable Godzilla monsters that are replete and resplendent on the cover arts here. Very, very cool indeed. And just carrying on, let's have a look through all 10 of these very cool cover artworks. This is issue number 7, and very, very cool. That's a word that I'm going to be using a lot and have used a lot already during this video. But there's no other word perhaps to best describe it. It is just very much indeed comic book cool, which is why I've gone for the title, of course, for this series. But very nice, very, very nice indeed. I mean, look at that. It's Godzilla very much in all his glory. Love the use of the speech balloons there. Screonk! Excellent stuff, excellent stuff. And just truly loving the style of the art and the care and attention to detail that is given, and the love and passion that's put into delivering very much the style that we do love of the Japanese Godzilla. I mean, this is a very particularly good cover art there, and this, as we just have a look down here, bottom corner, is very much representative as a tie-in to the Godzilla film and the 60th anniversary, 1954 to 2014. Brilliant, brilliant stuff indeed. And here I think you can just recognise there particularly Gargantua, who's of course the lead character in a couple of movies featuring the Gargantua from the Toho Studios, but the one that particularly comes to mind, I love the film, is Frankenstein Conquers the World, which has the Gargantua in it, who is sort of an offspin of the Frankenstein creature. But I won't say any more about that. Just go and check out the movie Frankenstein Conquers the World, and you will have a very good time indeed. Brilliant, brilliant stuff. Loving all of those comic book covers from Godzilla Rulers of the Earth. And just to finish on one of my favourite comic book covers from this series, and this is a variant edition of Godzilla Rulers of the Earth issue number 3, and I think that those of you who are big comic book fans and also huge Godzilla fans, Toho Studio fans, will certainly recognise that character there. And this is a tribute edition of the comic book series and a tie-in very nicely to the film, which is of course the excellent Space Amoeba creature feature from 1970, which is also known as Yog Monster from Space, and of course directed by the excellent, brilliant director Ishiro Honda, who of course is also the director of Godzilla. Can't go wrong there at all. Brilliant, brilliant stuff. Really do love this particular variant comic book edition. But please do let me have your thoughts on these, and please do be honest. Let me know if you would like to see more of these, if you would like to see Comic Book Call continue. Let me know what your favourite comic books are, what your growing up with comic books has been, if you've got into comic books again recently, what your thoughts are. Generally really would welcome it very much indeed. But for now, thanks very much. Take care everybody. See you all soon. Bye for now.